campaigns.
I didn't know what we were going to do.
I didn't know what we were going to do either. You know why? Because I've been drinking. That's right! It's time again for Inebriated Historical Storytelling. We got our letter. We just got a letter. So I have my cheap red wine. Jord's got his cheap beer.
Well,
we got our letter. It's cheap beer. Let's see. Who? Okay, wait. So the first four are correspondents with presidents. You can catch our first episode up here. Who do you think might be our next person? Because we got some good you got like Abraham Lincoln. I'm sure people wrote to him. JFK.
Wait. Do we know, because it's a small sample size. We only have Annie Oakley.
Yeah, no, we literally only have one to go off of, but they did say that our next, like our first four were going to be like correspondents with presidents. So we know it's in that category.
Okay. And how far back do these go?
I have literally no idea.
I'm going to guess that this is someone, I don't know who, but I'm going to guess the president that this person is corresponding with is going to be JFK.
Okay, you're going JFK. I don't know.
Say it before you open it.
The first one that came to mind was JFK. But, I mean, our first one was what? McKinley?
Yeah.
Very obscure. Very obscure president.
You gotta guess before you open it anymore.
Martin Van Buren. Chock full of nuts! Oh, from May 13th, 1958. Okay, it just says, Dear Mr. President. Well, let's see. So it's not Martin Van Buren.
No.
That's for sure. Oh, girl. We got Jackie Robinson.
All right. I wore the wrong sports sweater today.
You wore the wrong sports sweater. Baseball. For everybody, we know Jackie Robinson, baseball. So, what do we have a letter on chock full of nuts letterhead here. The letter reads, Respectfully yours, Jackie Robinson. Governor Phoebus. You know who this guy is? This guy. So he was like, nah, Brown v. Board of Education. Psh, no. And he caused the Little Rock crisis.
So that's why.
That's why he sucks. This man doing so much. Breaking the color barrier in baseball, writing to the president. Clearly not enough because, good Lord.
So now, for some context.
We're going to learn about Jackie Robinson. Oh, we're going to learn about Chuck Full of Nuts, too, and why it's on Chuck Full of Nuts letterhead. Drop the knowledge. Tell us about Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson's
Number 42.
Jackie Robinson's entry into Major League Baseball ended 60 years of racial segregation in the sport. Off the baseball field, Robinson campaigned tirelessly for civil rights for African Americans. In this letter to President Eisenhower, dated May 13th, 1958, Robinson, then Vice President of Personnel at Chock full of Nuts.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
Have you watched?
That makes a lot of sense with
Have you seen 42?
I have not seen 42.
Is this in 42?
This letter? Dude, I just told you I didn't see the movie. I don't know.
Criticizes comments Eisenhower made urging African Americans to have patience and their struggle for equality. Honestly, just a poor choice of words.
Yeah, like probably some of the worst words you could pick.
Jackie Roosevelt Robinson is most famous for becoming the first African American Major League Baseball player in 1947. Jackie's older brother Mac was also a well-regarded athlete. He won a silver medal in track and field in the 1956 Summer Olympics in Berlin. breaking the Olympic record in the 200 meter, yet still finishing behind Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens.
Following World War II, W.W. Deuce, the Brooklyn Dodgers hired Jackie Robinson as a first baseman. Jackie Robinson was a talented player throughout his 10-year MLB career. He won the first ever MLB Rookie of the Year award in 1947, was an all-star player every year from 1949 to 1954, and was the first black player to win the National League's MVP award, which he won in 1949. Jackie Robinson played in 6 World Series, including 1955, when the Dodgers won. His number is also retired. You can't be 42? No baseball player can be number 42.
That's right.
Jackie Robinson was also a highly influential figure off the field. He was a leading figure of the civil rights movement. Even beyond breaking the baseball color line, Robinson was the first black television analyst in MLB history, airing on ABC's Major League Baseball Game of the Week, and the first black vice president of a major American corporation chock full of nuts. Freedom National Bank in Harlem in 1964, which became one of the largest African-American owned banks in the U.S. Jackie was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Reagan in 1984 and the Congressional Gold Medal in 2003. Martin Luther King called Robinson a legend and symbol in his own time who challenged the dark skies of intolerance and frustration. Chock full of nuts.
Chock full of nuts. It's coffee. It's coffee, y'all, if you don't know.
But that's also the heading.
But Jackie they say the coffee is chock full of nuts.
All right, so chock full of nuts.
Chock full of nuts.
Which is coffee. Jackie Robinson's letter to President Eisenhower includes chock full of nuts letterhead. There you go. From 1957 to 1964. Robinson was the vice president and director of personnel of the company. In 1957, when the Brooklyn Dodgers relocated to Los Angeles, Robinson did not want to play outside New York. His baseball career was winding down, so he took the position at Chock full of nuts.
Chock full of nuts!
Which he saw as an advancement for the African-American cause in the business sector. Chock full of Nuts was the most popular coffee shop in New York at the time. The store originally opened in Manhattan in 1926 to sell nuts to theatergoers in Times Square, when the Great Depression made shelled nuts an unaffordable luxury for most people.
There you go. Popcorn, much cheaper, grown here in America.
The nut stands were converted to sell coffee and sandwiches.
Oh.
Chock full of Nuts CEO William Black believed Jackie would be a personable liaison between the company and its mostly African-American workforce. Jackie became intimately involved in helping employees. He even testified on behalf...
Jackie Robinson's in HR.
Yeah. He even testified on behalf of an employee accused of stabbing and helping bring the children of an immigrant employee to America from Jamaica.
Wow. That's not where I thought that was going.
Yeah. Jackie Robinson also spent his time at Chock full of Nuts
Chock full of nuts!
Advancing the civil rights movement. His boss, William Black, encouraged Jackie to chair the NAACP fundraising tour, giving him a $10,000 check for the NAACP, and encouraged Jackie to write a newspaper column on race issues. Chock full of Nuts was used in much of Jackie Robinson's civil rights correspondences.
Nice. See, here's what I love, because typically, I mean, at least nowadays as a company, you'd be like, you can say whatever you want, but you are not affiliated with our company when you are saying it. And Chock full of Nuts is like, nah, put it on our letterhead. No.
Jackie Robinson also had his detractors, however.
Boo.
He had supported President Nixon over JFK in the 1960 presidential election, even sending 24 pounds of coffee to Richard and Patton. Jackie's support for Nixon brought criticism from many former fans, including Robert Kennedy, who said Robinson was being used by Chock full of Nuts.
Chock full of Nuts!
CEO William Black as a union-busting tool.
Ooh,
Black nationalist leaders such as Malcolm X echoed this same criticism.
Very interesting from a corporate perspective, because on the one hand you're like, yeah, William Black, but that's likely true. William Black is just parading him around. Hey, look at our Black, what was his title? Look, y'all, we got Jackie Robinson working for us. Look at how cool we are.
Vice President and Director of Personnel.
But then, on a micro level within that organization, because he was in charge of personnel, he was doing good work. So even though William Black was likely being very performative, it had a positive effect nonetheless.
In the early 1960s, Robinson met with Nelson Rockefeller, then governor of New York, to discuss a controversial line in a chock full of nuts' jingle. Better coffee even Rockefeller's money can't buy.
Oh, ooh. Coming for your Rockefeller.
That's rough. That's like when you say it's going to be bigger than the Big Mac.
No, I think that's like so cool. Even the Kardashians couldn't buy cooler. Or no, who's richer than the Kardashians? Like, all of them combined have a very large purchasing power.
It's a dumb slogan. It was unclear whether Rockefeller was actually offended by the lyric or merely wanted to meet Jackie. In either case, CEO William Black welcomed the publicity. Robinson and Rockefeller developed a friendship, and Robinson eventually left chock full of nuts to become of 6 national directors for Rockefeller's campaign for a Republican nominee in the 1964 presidential election. Rockefeller lost the nomination to Arizona Senator Barry Goldwater.
Goldwater.
Which
we are now going to learn about Eisenhower and civil rights. What you got, Eisenhower? Eisenhower and civil rights. Oftentimes, in the civil rights movement, actual progress followed long after formal legislation. Tell me something I don't know. For example,
is that a song?
In my heart. For example, even though President Truman signed Executive Order 9981 in 1948, which ended racial segregation in the U.S. Armed Forces, actual implementation was slow. President Eisenhower even mentioned this fact in his first State of the Union address in 1953. Eisenhower felt ending racial discrimination was a national security issue, as communists worldwide used America's history of discrimination as fodder for anti-American propaganda in the Civil War.
You said civil, not cold.
No, I said Cold War.
You sure?
Yes.
I heard civil.
I am positive. I am 100% positive.
I'm pretty sure you said civil.
I'm positive I said Cold
I don't
War.
know about that.
I do know.
Civil War.
Eisenhower signed the Civil Rights Act of 1957, creating a permanent civil rights office in the Justice Department and a civil rights commission to hear testimony on voting rights abuses. Man, we are treading the same. Come on, y'all. Just get it together. Everybody deserves a right to vote. Everybody's equal. It's not difficult. It's very straightforward. Why are we still talking about this shit? How many 60 plus years? Come on. Come on. 3 years prior, in a landmark case, Brown v. the Board of Education of Topeka, the Supreme Court ruled that laws segregating public schools were unconstitutional. Separate but equal is inherently unequal.
That was.
Look who remembers her American history classes. Also, it's kind of like a very big deal. Then in 1957, the state of Arkansas, this famous character, refused to honor a federal court order stemming from the Brown decision. Arkansas Governor Orville Fabus, boo, ordered the Arkansas National Guard to prevent African American students from attending Little Rock Central High School, an all-white public school. The image of a line of soldiers standing against 9 black students made national papers, polarizing America. The event became known as the Little Rock Crisis. Eisenhower responded by bringing Arkansas National Guard under federal control and ordering the guardsmen to return to their armories. That's right! That's right! He then sent soldiers from the 101st Airborne Division of the U.S. Army to protect the students, enforce the federal court order, and escort the children into school. The Arkansas National Guard later took over protection duties. Fabus then petitioned to postpone desegregation for 2.5 years, claiming a sudden integration would lead to violence. Yeah, because you're a dumbass. Other dumbasses were going to cause violence because people just want to get a damn education. When federal courts ruled against the delay, Fabus shut down all 4 public schools in the city for the 1958 to 1959 school year, known in Little Rock as the lost year. See, we thought we had it bad, shutting schools down. At least kids could still Zoom school. They didn't get any school for a whole year. What are you even gonna? You know, I bet you parents back then were just like, go outside. Best of luck to you. So yeah, those kids lost a whole year of schooling over this nonsense. Fabus. In the enclosed letter, Robinson writes to Eisenhower, urging him to take a firm stand so all Americans can enjoy equal rights now. 60 plus years ago. Now. Robinson believed unequivocal statements backed up by strong action were the only way to prevent further delays. Eisenhower was sympathetic, yet Robinson believed Eisenhower failed to grasp the full extent of the racism that existed. While civil rights were being won legally in Congress and in the courts, many rights were still denied in practice. Yeah. And that's it. That's the end.
All right, well, there you go. I'm going to say...
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Chock full of nuts.
I'm going to say, as far as the story that's being told and the issue being presented, A+ there. I think it's important for us to remember these things and to acknowledge these things.
So that's this month's Inebriated Historical Storytelling, just in time, February, Black History Month. We have a lovely letter from Jackie Robinson. What more could you ask for? I mean, I suppose you could let me know in the comments below. What more would you ask for? If you like this video, like this video. If you did like this video, like this video. And subscribe! More Inebriated Historical Storytelling coming your way in next month. Okay, listen, y'all. The timing of these videos is a little weird. And that's because, we need to schedule when we are gonna consume the alcohols, okay? We can't just be getting drunk on a random Tuesday, okay? That ain't feasible. So they're gonna come when they come. Sorry, in advance. Subscribe, check out the channel. Lots of content. I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch me next week for more. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!